Tonight, our first topic is addiction and how it affects the marriage. More times than not, there's one family member that says, you know, pot's no big deal. Does that color or influence how you parent?
I mean, we grew up in our age group in a culture of acceptance of drug use, experimentation. It was called recreational drug use, was a rite of passage. Experimenting was not an option for my son because he had, you know, he had the addiction gene, so to speak, or predisposition to become addicted.
And, you know, I really thought he was going to be fine, too. I thought that, you know, this was just experimenting. He was look at me, I survived. And I think that definitely did color our original and our initial intervention of the problem.
We had been, I had an older daughter. Unlike Justin being the firstborn, mine is the second. And so we went through all the steps, you know, in experimentation, my husband and I, myself in college, and then my daughter, my oldest daughter did the college drinking and everything, and so I wasn't really, I didn't understand that she had this gene that was going to take her somewhere else.
We didn't know it was a brain disease until after Justin passed away. We definitely thought it was an issue of moral character and self-control.
Why are you doing this? You're ruining your life. Can't you see it? Well, yes, they can see it, but you know, they're in the throes of an illness, of a disease, and that's what we didn't realize.
But how did this impact your relationship with your husband and the other siblings, the family members?
It's been a difficult journey for all of us. My theory of dealing with it was in your face. You know, let's go, we got to go to, you know, rehab after rehab after rehab, and it wore on me somewhere around the 7th or 8th time. And so my husband and I actually started marriage counseling. At first we thought it was somewhat of a weakness to have to go to a therapist, and frankly it probably saved our marriage. My other daughters, I can imagine it's a very difficult thing to watch their sister really almost kill herself. They lose hope when there's a relapse and a relapse and a relapse. Right now we're on the 14th rehab.
I was more of, in the relationship, you know, more tolerant of the drug use. And, you know, I remember when his therapist said, you know, we're fighting for your son's life, I thought he was being dramatic. And I didn't realize at the time he was actually being literal. He was worried that my son was going to die. And Justin was good at speaking with me on the side and letting me know that everything was okay. It wasn't a big, serious issue. You got to calm mom down. I mean, it was... he was divisive in our relationship, and it wasn't until we saw a real deterioration in him that I realized that he was manipulating me at that point.
I think that I agree totally with what Steve said. We were really facing in opposite directions, and we were fighting all the time about what to do about Justin. What do we do about Justin? We have, as I said, 4 children. Justin was my oldest. He was 10 years older than my youngest. So this really started when Dylan was 9. When Justin got arrested at 19, Dylan was like in shock because Justin was his model. It was his older brother.
We did, you know, do some family therapy, which was helpful. And I remember thinking, wow, you know, I didn't even realize that they were going through this torment. It's the addictions is something that the whole family is suffering from. There's a predisposition to not talk about this in the family because you think maybe that your 8-year-old doesn't know what's going on. They know what's going on. As a matter of fact, it's worse because they're making stuff up.
Right.
Joan, did you try to keep it quiet from your other kids?
I couldn't keep it quiet. I chose not to. 5 years ago, August, I lost my sister to this disease at 51 years old. So there's obviously in our family, a genetic component, and I want them to know, this is your history, please be careful, watch yourselves. So,
and hopefully someone out there will hear this and say, that's me, that's us, that's our home, let me reach out and get help.